Gutfoxx here. So, we got some future stars coming Friday that we know of. They revealed a few more. I'll go through that in this video. I also put together a list of my favorite cards so far this year for S's and G's because we're, in kind of a transition period in MLB The Show. If you want to stare down what that transition period is, we are in the next few days about to get Lou Gehrig Day tomorrow, which should bring some fun new program. We'll also talk about another program on its way. Friday content, we're getting 30 new feature guys, and as you see on your screen right here, they're 95 overall. So 30 guys at 95, which dang near the highest cards in the game overall wise, gonna dwarf a lot of the other ones that we've gotten. So there's gonna be some major lineup changeover, and generally when this happens, people either love it or, in a month's time they hate it because they're like, oh, everybody's lineup's the same thing. This is the worst thing ever. Why do they keep doing this? But at least for now, it's exciting. And staring at it from this side of the future, seeing the kind of crazy content that we're about to get, it's kind of cool looking. Okay, so we'll see the fallout if they end up not being able to balance it and some cards just take over. I hope we don't get any outlier fastballs here. We have like an outlier on everybody's roster again, like DeGrom last year. But we'll see how they balance it. We only see a few of their stats so far. So we got Cespedes here. I can't speak, dude. I'm sorry. Everything I take multiple attempts at. 95 overall center fielder. We don't know his attributes yet. Obviously, we can guess that, and we're not going to because we'll be wrong. We then have Valera here. I like all the prospect names. I'm terrible at. It's not until they get into the actual show and I hear like an announcer say their name that I can kind of figure it out. But Valera seems right. 95 overall right fielder there for the Guardians. We actually see his stats. So a lefty that can play all the positions. 69 speed, nice. Good fielding across the board. Crushes righties. Like, oh my God, righties. That's actually insane. 110 versus righties, and actually half decent against lefties. So overall, it's a nice card, George, right there for the Guardians. I myself, if you guys haven't had your team revealed yet, who do you guys want? We got Goldschmidt continue to be charged because he extended his hitting streak with his I think we got even more Trey Turner extension. Here we got more face of the franchise guys revealed. Between Oakland, Texas, and Houston there is getting Lee. So some more cards, second base, catcher, two catchers. This kind of sucks, right? I was really hoping the Pirates were going to get Henry Davis. So I was hoping we were going to get catcher because our theme team's catcher is awful. And it's like the one position we really need. Hopefully if there's too many catchers, we also need a reliever. I'll take a reliever for sure. Just please not an outfielder, anything but an outfielder. That would be brutal to get another outfielder for the Pirates theme team. Matt Brash is coming for Seattle here as a starter. We also saw Goldschmidt get extended again. Detmers here for the Angels. And Detmers, it's okay. You got a sweeping curveball at 74 miles per hour is kind of insane. Okay. Along with, 95 is fine. Slider, circle, cutter. No sinker on him. I don't know how much will be used, but 102 hits per 9. You might see him a little bit. We might see how funky he throws and if he's going to kind of destroy people. If the fastball was a sinker, well, this would be one of the best pitchers in the game without a doubt. So I don't know if it's going to work with a fastball. We then have Turner there, supercharged again. I think there's another card that I'm missing that kind of got revealed stats-wise that I do want to show off. Let me look at the MLB The Show subreddit before going to my favorite ones. I saw Brash. All right, Brash is right here. Brash attributes here, 98 miles per hour, so significantly better than 95. Every mile per hour over 95 is like an extra 2 miles per hour. That's how important it is. Slider, slurve, circle. So a slow slurve could be kind of nice. We'll see the movement on the two-seam. Two-seams are nice, but only when they got decent movement. And like the movement of the two-seam not only depends on the movement number, but also the angle it comes out of the hand, right? Like, as you know, sinkers change and they dip more. They have more arm side to run depending on how the pitcher releases it. So it's like as important. It's so funny. Okay, let's go through my favorite cards so far. Maybe I should have done this in a standalone video, but this year's kind of brought in a lot of fresh names. I mean, I wouldn't say a lot, but we got like Mauer. Morneau doesn't really have a high card now. Peguero for the Pirates is a really nice one. Peguero's not going to make my top list right now because he just came out. Same with Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth, these are my honorable mentions. Ketel Marte, I'm going to throw in an honorable mention too. He's great. I love him. The issue is I sold him expecting his prices to go down, and his price didn't go down, so recently rebought him, so I wouldn't be able to like really get as much use out of him as I want. But number 10 on my list will end up being Mr. Roberto Clemente. Now you're like, whoa, Roberto Clemente? Isn't he like your favorite guy of all time? Yes, he is. The issue is I hate his swing. I really do. I'm hitting 357 with him, which is great. But for 125 contact, I kind of want a little bit more. I see him only at parallel 4, or I got other guys at parallel 5. I don't know. He's never really done it for me. Only 1,000 OPS, which is kind of just like fine for this game for me. I don't know. I think I've come around a little bit on his swing. I think at higher difficulty, he plays better than a lot of other cards due to that high contact. So it is an issue that the fact that I play a majority of my games on the level that I enjoy, which is All-Star or Hall of Fame, and I do not enjoy Legend at all. But I bet you on Legend, Roberto Clemente carries a little harder, which is not a game mode that I play or enjoy playing at all. With the way it is. My number 9 on the list will be Joe Mauer. It's interesting, like a lot of my favorite cards are my main lineup. I'm not gonna put in any BR studs here. I'm okay on BR. I'm fine with it. I'll grind it out if the cards are expensive, like the Joe Morgan is now. But overall, like I think BR is it's probably my 3rd favorite game mode behind events and ranked seasons. I just wish ranked seasons I could play more games on Hall of Fame and not get disconnected. And that's really kind of killed me on ranked. Is 9 innings. I can barely make it through 9 innings without getting disconnected in this year's game, which is sad. But Joe Mauer, how have I done with him? 150 plate appearances. I'm hitting 458, 1,400 OPS. A lot of event games with him. Ranked seasons I've run a lot. Now, there's tough competition at catcher between him, Adley, Posada is really nice too. I would like if they have like the big collection Friday, make it a switch hitter like Adley or Posada or something, but they already got really nice cards. I don't know. Mauer's got a nice swing. The issue with his swing is that it's a line drive swing. So like he is like the master of perfect lineouts, and it's so frustrating. Him and Clemente together are like the masters of perfect lineouts, and that's why they're kind of right 10-9. They're great, but they have the downside. All right, next up on my list will be a card that kind of came out, but I have been loving recently. This Ralph Kiner card is awesome. Good contact, great power, vision solid. The only downside of this card is the fact that he's forced into the outfield and he's not that good at defense. So if you put him out there, the thing about that, like in previous years, he was unusable due to the defense. This year, I think with the ball hanging up, Seabreath kind of opened my third eye to this topic because he kind of stays out there. He does a pretty decent job. Here, let me bring you guys over to my list of let me start a list up for my things. He does a pretty decent job actually getting the balls. Now, I have lost one event game where the ball was kind of hit to the wall that if somebody was like significantly faster, I feel like they would have been able to make the plays. If I had like Trout left field, the game would have been over, right? But it bounced off the wall, kind of got to it. The next guy, I think I accidentally, so I don't know if it's kind of so, but I accidentally hung a slider. I didn't mean to. I swear I didn't mean to, and the guy just took it yard. He was a good player. I think he was a World Series player or whatever in the event, but it was sad indeed. All right, let's go ahead and look to the next card on the list, which will be number 7. Why didn't that work? All right, there it is. Number 7 on the list for me is Ryan Howard. You're like, what? Ryan Howard? That's crazy. Didn't he start the fire? So Fire Guy is number 7. Why? And I used him early on, and every time, like, this is one of my favorite bench bats of all time. You'll see this quite a bit. Because, like, I brought him out, and he just hit dingers, right? I didn't get a lot of use out of him, but coming off the bench, he just smacked it over the fence for me. Now, it's only 380. You're like, whoa, Fox, you thought Clemente was bad, but I don't know. I just, like, when I come out with Howard off the bench, I just feel confident. Now, it's 50 plate appearances. Yeah, that's not much, but as a pinch hitter, I love him. He's gorgeous. So Ryan Howard hits my number 7. I like when they bring new dudes to the game, and Ryan Howard being one of them. You should get a pretty good end game card though. Number 6 will end up being Mr. Albert Pujols. You're like, why don't you put him over here? It's because I like messing with your OCD. So Albert Pujols at number 6. What a card, dude. This card came out, and this is kind of like Albert Pujols, like on the bad side of things, to be fair. He is leading us down the path of SDS being more pack focused, which is something they started putting better cards in pack, like Ketel Marte. This card, Delgado, like some of the best cards in the games are now in packs. It's a very EA move, but you know what? You can't hate a business for making money, since that's literally the point. This Albert Pujols card, if you can get a hold of the ball, plus 125 contact, right? So it's pretty easy to get a hold of the ball. If you do, he's driving it, and he's driving it with authority. 238 plate appearances, 393 average, 1300 OPS. An absolute destroyer of worlds. And the fact that he's got 65 speed for an Albert card. Yeah, that's something else. All right, so I've really liked Albert. Number 5 on my list. You guys are going to say, what? I used him briefly. He got kind of outclassed. He's in a tough position. I really love Andrew McCutchen's swing. I think he's got a Trout-esque swing. And you know, maybe a little Pirates bias playing into this. But I absolutely adore the way he hits the ball. Where is it? Center fielder? Sorry, I messed up. I was thinking left field because I've mainly played him left field, but he is a center fielder. I didn't use him a ton. He doesn't have great stats, but he's one of those like quintessential like hits above his numbers. Like I know it's only 25 at bats, hitting 680. Like I said, I didn't use him much, but when I did use him, he has that whip, right? Hits lefties really well. Righties, he whips through. He's got great speed and then combined defense. Not a great arm, so I like him better in left field. But overall, I'm waiting for McCutchen's higher card. Can't wait. Number 4, this guy is probably the worst thing in MLB The Show. Susan Gutfoxx, or she, sorry. Susan Gutfoxx, you guys actually have to see it a different way. I don't know if you guys watch my video on cap pitchers. I know whenever I bring this guy in, like I'm placing a good player, he makes good players, or she makes good players look awful. I don't think I only have plate appearance stats. I don't think I can get, I can't get it, his pitching stats. Like I think the only runs he's given up was like on a slider, like 4 to 6 inches out of the zone. Dude slammed the PCI, hit the most BS home run down the line. It was like 86 exit velocity or 88 exit velocity. I don't know what it was. It was terrible. And it went over the fence. And like that's the only run. So like Susan Gutfoxx being a reliever that can go 5 innings for me if I do need a fireman. Incredible. And I hope people when they see Susan Gutfoxx out there feel the same way I do. Get rid of Caps in Diamond Dynasty. They need to go, right? Like Susan Gutfoxx is a difference maker and he makes people angry, but the fielding Caps make way more of an impact on the games overall in ranked season. So I absolutely hate these things, right? I think Caps just shouldn't be the game. So I try to abuse something as much as possible to make people hate it. And I hope you guys do the same. Get Caps out of Diamond Dynasty. Abuse them. Make people feel bad about themselves. Make them join our cause of getting Caps out of here. And I hate the people that are like, oh, get pitcher Caps out. No, hitter Caps gone too. Get them out. They're so BS. Switch hitting like minimum player with like maxed out attributes, and then they'll be there all year at any position you want, and then they got like just such an advantage over any pitcher. It's just stupid. They'll easily miss the ball at the PCI, hit a home run, and then they get like the best swings possible too. I don't know. Number 3 is Bryce Harper. This guy is staying in my heart because this guy hit 3 home runs against Magunsky and allowed me to beat him. So like Harper, he's been kind of messed with a lot. I don't like what SDS has done with Harper. He should go back up, dude. But like he's been messed with so much. He's been up, down, sideways, whatever. But this guy swings a boomstick. 48 plate appearances, hitting 478 for me. 11 home runs out of his 22 hits, so he's 1700 OPS. This is one of those sweet swings. I love Bruce Hooper. That doesn't even include my 3 home run game against Gunsky because that was played not in Diamond Dynasty. But anyways, Bryce Harper. I hope he gets his power in contact versus right back. I loved him when he was a righty killer, but they have nerfed him a little bit, so he's a little less effective than he was, I feel like, to start the year. Hopefully they bring him back up in overall with future roster updates. A shell of his former thing. Talk about a shell of his former one. Another honorable mention would be Jose Ramirez. I really like this Jose Ramirez. Didn't hit so well with him because I used him a lot early on when his contact and stuff against righties wasn't good. Now they've killed him against lefties. So now he's got another big hole in his game. I think there was like a sweet spot. Was it like a month or so where he was like good against both righties and lefties? And he was like one of the best players in the game. Now they've made him such a hole against lefties that it's hard to cue into online, especially because like some of the best pitchers are left-handed pitchers between Price, Randy Johnson, Dallas Keuchel. You'll see a lot of those lefties in the game. We'll see, of course, what Future Stars bring. If there's many lefties, that was at Detmers becomes meta or not. Number 2, of course, will be the new guy, the big unit. This guy like literally wins you event games just by queuing into it, right? Like you queue in with Randy Johnson. It's become like the meta strat for events. So like you can, I don't know. I used to just quit out of Randy's because like you'd see him once every like 5-6 games. Now in event games, it's like every third event game will be Randy Johnson. At least when I'm playing events. I sometimes do it on stream like right when it drops, and like all the tryhards are doing it right when it drops. So almost everybody's got Randy. So like you'll face a lot of Randy. So at that point, quitting out of every other game or like 2 out of 3 games, it's not worth it. So I'll just play against them and try to beat dudes with Randy. But anyways, Randy Johnson, the Ultimate Intimidator, Outlier. Like before they changed his motion, he was like okay. He was a little easier to pick up, but after they changed it, it's become a lot more wicked. The fact that the slurve and the slider are so different in speed and dip is so important because they look the exact same out of the hand. The splitter is a big weapon along, obviously, with the outlier. The difference of, 15 miles per hour or so. It really messes with dude, or 14 miles per hour, maybe even more, depending on how you get the releases there. But anyways, number 1, who else would it be but one of the greatest ball players of all time? This Mike Trout, not a switch hitter, but this dude just seems to have that it factor, right? Live series quirks, everything. He was at like 130 power for me for a little bit. They've nerfed him a little bit, but now he doesn't really have any holes, right? His contact versus left's up to like 117. He's incredible against lefties, incredible against righties. Fast, 5'2" outfielder. Does incredible work out there. I'm in 435 online with him. 46 home runs in 345 at-bats with him. Mike Trout, he is Mike Trout, number 1 favorite player this year. All right, that's it. Let me know who your guys' favorite players are this year so far. And that's all I got to say about that. Please like, subscribe, use code Gutfoxx on Underdog Fantasy. Literally the number 1 way of supporting me. Thank you very much. I'll catch you tomorrow on stream, twitch.tv/Gutfoxx. Peace.